Good day, fellow investors. UK stocks, your suggestions, let's go. We discussed Greg's, that's where I asked you for suggestions. I'll do some today. There were so many of them, but please, in the current comments, if you have suggestions, elaborate on those, and then I promise you I will select some for the following UK stocks videos. But before we start, comments a lot on the pound, UK will go down, so let's check that. So after the Truss moment, which was 3 years ago, the pound has actually been gaining on the US dollar. Despite you might think that's bad in the UK, around the world it looks that's even worse. And you can see here, yes, structurally the pound has been losing against the dollar, but there are always these dips and transactions and short-term moves that works. We'll see whether the dollar will start losing globally or not. With currencies, you can never know. That's why I prefer to focus on businesses. Many of these businesses are international businesses, so it is what it is. Britain in line with the developed countries, US growing faster, more debt, more AI, things like that. Germany not growing, less debt. We'll see about that. Still, gross debt lower than the US, but still high deficits, so it is a difficult situation, nothing against that. However, let's look at businesses where whatever happens to the pound, maybe you can get it at the right price so that you can have a margin of safety there. Like other developed countries, Europe is no better, the US is no better. Inflation will likely be there for longer given the deficits. Focus on the business and the price. And let's start with Greencoat UK Wind and Bluefield Solar. I focused on Greencoat, then we'll go to Vice. So let's immediately start with Greencoat UK Wind Systems. Trump said those are ugly, but that is Europe. However, the stock is down, the dividend yield 10%, 55, 10% yield, crazy. But let's look at what's going on. There is less wind, less situations, everything changes, that interest rates are going higher. So these are these utility yields, and they still promise 10% return at net asset value. Now it's a little bit higher because trading below net asset value. However, there is so much debt, and when interest rates go higher, investors expect higher yields, debt costs go higher, and then the stock price adjusts lower. And some companies are saying there will be a huge increase in demand from AI, things like that. But the truth is that energy prices are deteriorating, expected even to go lower on some projections, depending on the investments, on the demand. And then you also see the impact on these businesses. Can we know the energy prices 5 years down the road? The impact, the mix, will be there more demand, lower demand? That's impossible to know. And also on the upside, it works until they can reinvest, issue equity, build, things like that. But when the situation gets ugly, then you see these 50% declines that kill your dividend income. So we'll see. To me, I want businesses that have a moat, not that are dependent on market prices like renewables are. 10%, however, it is already cheap, but those things I think are adjusting: higher interest rates, higher requirements, lower energy prices, and then perhaps the dividend yield will be around 7-8%, no more growth, and that's just like a better corporate bond, so it's not that stellar, even if you might see the 10% there. Same as with solar energy, income fund, 11% yield. The market is likely expecting some structural changes there. Whether it will happen or not, can it go back to 7% yield? That's sure, and then you also double your money, get the dividends, but too much uncertainty there. You can, with the diversified portfolio, you can add these guys, enjoy the cash flows, reinvest in them or into others. Nothing wrong with that. Now, the growth stock, a lot of requests for Wise, and since the IPO, then the employees start selling, you have this big drop, then you have it going higher, which means things are going well. They are still growing 20%, customer holdings, everything looks good. Margins, profit margins are stagnating, but okay, still on the growth, they are doing well. They are investing into new customers, they are investing into new products, new technologies. And now that's the story with all these new payment systems. They work, everything looks great, they acquire customers, they do mergers and acquisitions, everything is great. And then that weight of the things they have done in the past to make things look good takes over, and then they just stabilize in a rut or even decline. And that is the risk, that I simply don't have the insights into the payments market and WISE's competition and potential interest rates to tell you, yes, it's a great buy, it will continue. Not my circle of competence. For me, as a value investor, it's too risky because you're looking at the owner's earnings and those are simply not there because everything is invested in the future. B&M retail company, a lot of suggestions there. Of course, the stock is down, 7% yield for a retail. And let's look a little bit at what's going on. Flat situation there, EBITDA down, like-for-like sales flat. France, some going, but France is still small. And that is the key question here. Challenges, can you address those challenges? Because when you look at retail, less and less retailing. 10 years ago, if you wanted to buy something, you needed to go to a shop. Now you mostly order it online, things like that. And it is inevitable that the traffic at all those stores will go down over time. Therefore, it is a deteriorating business. They will try to do magic to make it grow again, but they are going against a strong headwind. And that's simply something that, yes, the P ratio is 7, the dividend yield is 7.6, but the situation is that retail is not that attractive, especially these which should be offering situations, not special retailers, and we'll discuss how the competition is coming in the next stock. And there were great comments here. Dividend, low P ratio, valuations, like the Dollarama of Canada, Dollarama and $3 boomed there. Okay, that might happen, but action is coming in, Lidl's, the Aldi's. There is always so much, and as Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger used to say, retail is the widowmaker of value investors. And let's discuss the next one, 3i Group. That is the owner of the Action commercial chain in Europe, Netherlands, booming, growing all over the place. But we have to discuss here, the first thing here is the P ratio of 5. The P ratio is not 5. This is private equity, this is an investment trust, and they do things differently to make look things better. So they look at the net asset value per share that they calculate on what they think is improving. So Action is growing EBITDA, they calculate it at 15 times EBITDA, and therefore Action is now worth £2 billion more. Thus our profit is £2 billion, and that goes into the P ratio in their account. We cannot see Action's accounts even if they have 65% ownership because it's an investment trust. And you can see here value, growth, that's it, 10% growth, 12% growth based on their EBITDA accounts, their EBITDA thinking, their ways of calculating EBITDA that we cannot see. They are growing sales, cumulative sales, like-for-like sales growth, nothing wrong with that. Action is taking a lot of market share in Europe. They are growing stores, but they must also invest a lot in these stores, invest in pricing, EBITDA. We don't know what the debt is, what the depreciation is, what are the investments. This is a trust, and we cannot see what's going on there behind the private equity. And that's the magic of the private equity. They will just say, this is now the value is higher, and you can enjoy it. Perhaps nothing wrong with this company here. This is the investment entity exemption. The thing is that it might be good it might not be good, and if it ever reverts, it gets very ugly. We have no idea actions, debt levels across Europe. Perhaps you can go country by country and see something, but that's private equity, and I'm not saying anything against Action. I'm just saying that I need more transparency to invest into something. For now, the shareholders, it worked greatly, so as long as they can keep doing like that, you just enjoy it. Pets at Home, another retailer but also veterinarian. The stock is down, 6% dividend yield. We see these good dividend yields, but retail is struggling. Revenues from veterinarians are improving, and all in all, practically just the vet group makes the profits. What will happen next? Action will start selling pet food, things like that. So it is interesting, but there is also competition depending on the market, ordering online. As always, retail is a very, very difficult business. On the pet veterinarian part, they're acquiring all these smaller players, things like that. Could be a good one, maybe they'll separate one day. It looks like an interesting business. So this one might be something to follow if you want to follow for the veterinarian scaling potential growth. Dr. Martens, I discussed it somewhere in the past, just a fashion brand stock, and I said avoid. It's good for those that listened. They want to be the world's most desired premium brand. I've seen these slides a million times, but there is still a good balance sheet, good profits, everything good. Maybe some private equity will take them at these situations. They can do something with the cash flows, sell to somebody. But maybe it booms, maybe some influencer goes back to Dr. Martens. There will be these ups and downs, but just not for me. Jet PLC, very highly required for me to analyze. I've been also analyzing some stocks for my research platform from the UK. There will also be a suggestion side there, so please also, if you are a member, add those there. So let's just discuss Jet2 here, as it has been required. Huge growth on the company, P ratio 5, but then again, travel business, airline, and Warren Buffett said these airline businesses and travel always look cheap. However, you have to look at the true owner's earnings. Everything looks great. They are growing, they are investing, they are doing buybacks. Nothing wrong with that. But the base of the growth is leases. So those planes leased, those leases have to be paid. If there is an Iceland volcano breakout, 3 months, summer, no flights, and the business is gone. That's always a risk that you have to keep in mind. Okay, small growth, but they're replacing the old Boeings crashing for new Airbuses. Okay, outlook, growth, UK, bad weather, winter, we want to go to somewhere where it's hotter, but okay. I asked my assistant what the analysts are saying. There is expansion, Gatwick expansion, good balance sheet, customer loyalty, intense competition on the bear case, rising costs, taxes, things like that. So it can keep on doing well, but from a business model perspective, it's simply too risky for me personally. What else is there? Card Factory, another 7% dividend yield, another very low P ratio. Looked a little bit. They are still growing sales, growing stores, growing like for like. Everything looks good, but they're also spending on mergers and acquisitions to engineer that growth. What's that? They buy the Funky Pigeon trade. Okay, and that increases their debt to 160 million pounds. That is risky. The management is trying to salvage the business to keep the growth, but the growth is there. However, the net income is flat. They want to engineer that, and it seems they are not succeeding, and that's why you see this constant decline in the stock price despite the good dividend. Where will the business be long term? You see, they are increasing long-term debt now to what, 96 billion, 160. So long-term debt is going higher, free cash flow is getting lower, and the dividend is stable, just introduced, but based on that. Not a business model, despite it looking good, does not attract me because the owner's earnings, the true dividend, might not be there and might not be growing. Before we finish, Terry Smith, UK, just listened to an interview, Doing Nothing, the best thing of value investing. And when I have as many grays as he does here in the video, maybe I will discuss the AI bubble or things like that, like he discusses the .com bubble. We'll see. Stay subscribed for that. Looking forward to your comments. There were so many that I have cut out from your past videos, but this doesn't help me a lot. Please write down in detail what you want, why, so that everybody can enjoy, like this Hilton Foods, for example. Remind me again in this new video, and then we'll go through them, especially like the ones that you feel very good detailed. The more likes, the more chance it has that I will go through it. I'm looking forward for that.